Morning video. Yeah, I like these. Sort of. Won't be able to do these forever, but whatever. I mean, in this condition. Anyway, flowers and such. Walk around the garden again. What the hell? So I was just thinking of tradition and how it, just totally has ruined, the human race. Just the tradition even in how people think, not just in rituals and subjective tastes, we could call them, sensibilities, what kind of women we find attractive or some other kind of thing. You could even argue that some racism it's just because of the traditional positions that people have been in, based on the, incidental outcomes of conquests and wars and whatnot that have decided status and how people think about things. And, there's just so little merit to every aspect of tradition as a decider of merit, or definer of merit. And certainly in the conversation about what we are, that got all ruined because gods became part of some sort of cultural definition. We are defined by what God we have accepted as our personal tormentor, and it just totally breaks the game. Makes it impossible to have, might be called, rational conversation about the nature of existence, and even what kind of simple liberties we should have by now. In terms of certainly the liberty to disagree, that this idea of being one of these people is a profitable adventure. Adjusting positions. Really, some of these are quite lovely. Really. Anyway, and so it just gets very complicated to have a conversation about how much of what we think is completely conditional to subjective crap. And I've sort of brought up before that if the human race was planning a project to implant humans on another planet, but they could, they could only take whatever 4 people or something, and so there's certain races would be left out. That people would be certain people, some percentage of people, let's just say, would be very, they wouldn't want to finance the project, and they'd say it's frivolous and it's nonsense. If their race had lost the lottery, to be, on the big fun adventure. So it's all just some sort of idiotic team sport nonsense, where people are living vicariously through this human project. The human team is where they're gaining their, a proportion of their self-esteem. Is they're kind of living off the accomplishments of other humans, maybe. Something like that anyway. And, not so much feeling much obligation to actually produce something, of actual value. So, like I said, there's lots of directions to take this conversation, and I just haven't thought of the best way to do that, to get to this fundamental point, that the substance of our entire perception of our reality, of what life is completely dependent on, a bunch of silly norms and crap that doesn't have much relevance to something real. I really like this one. It's a big flower, and it's kind of purpley. Yeah, just the right amount of purpley. Yeah, looking for deers. Anyway, yeah. So where to go? Yeah, because I think, in a rational conversation, if you never had all this religious crap, if you didn't have this, if you didn't have this fake notion that we were all doing something besides just actualizing some sort of programming, and just admitting that we're all fundamentally, bigots to our subjective tastes, that life would become unbearable if I just change a few little circumstances. If I change the norm, of what the definition of an attractive woman is, and all of a sudden 99% of women, have 4 noses because people are nose men or something, or some other stupid thing like that, and all of a sudden, your optimism for the game is going to be diminished, because you don't see the sense in it anymore, any real enduring value in just pretending that you're doing something interesting and meaningful enough, that you're just doing the same redundant crap that people have been doing forever, so to speak. And yeah, I think that's it for in there. Cat. And I guess that's another thing. If you have a few experiences, you watch a few pets die, and you start thinking about, well, maybe having a pet isn't the thing to do. There's a little bit of a booger in his nose. Yeah, you need to have a sneeze, buddy. Yes, you do. Yeah, you need to sneeze that out of there. Yeah, we all have allergies here. I think he's allergic to humans, and I'm allergic to cats. Whoa. Yeah, my feet were right there. Careful, careful. Yeah, need those. For later, probably. Mostly, maybe. Yeah, so now I'm just paused in a ramble, right? Yes, I did have an idea that, okay, maybe I'll get there, and but I thought this would be a little bit too complex a subject. So I just want to get to the point that it's all this stupid head game. It's all just this crap that's in notions in people's heads. And we're fighting thousands of years of silly notions, just overtly silly. Just ludicrous, not even close to possible to be the truth. And, that's the standard, the overview of the plantation. Yeah. Probably can't see all the flowers from that distance, but it really does look quite nice. And such. So the big hibiscuses are almost ready to flower. And so they ought to be interesting once they're out. Yeah, there's a nicer color. I like that better. I got some cucumbers barely growing, but they're growing. So that'll be good. I'll get some food out of this thing. And there's an orange. I like the orange zinnias too. So hopefully next year I keep taking the right seeds, but they keep going pink on me. This isn't even a bad color. I kind of like this off pink thing. I could live with that even. I just don't. I get kind of sick of that pinky magenta kind of shit. Yeah, well, enough of that. Anyway, so I won't torture this video. Just had it on my mind to be able to say something on the subject of the fact that people are just living a lie. That if they were put into a little room with an alien and he just kind of spelled this all out, like the evolution thing and the fact that you're just chasing, and that your gratification will never be sufficient to not only pay for the chase, but it won't complete you. I mean, you're just going to start chasing something else, and that's the nature of the monster. There's some other stuff. This stuff gets beaten up by the deers a little bit more, so not very prolific yet. But, you know, these are kind of a nice mixture of the two hibiscuses. You got those little red centered. There's also the pure white ones, and I pulled out a few of the other colors. Really, I should have probably left those in. Well, you don't know what color they are until you pull them out. I'd go over there, but just gotta walk across the rocks. How with that? Yeah, it's kind of rough on the feet. Anyway, I'm almost done anyway. I'm just kind of defeated that I've made any kind of critical argument or progress with this video. Beyond just reiterating that I think, you know, you're deluded. The only question is how deluded. You know, we're all living some delusions, some aggrandizing thoughts that make the game at all appealing. And it's just a matter of percentages. Some people are just preposterously deluded, and some people aren't. What? Yeah. All cranky in the morning. Anyway, it's probably going to rain in an hour or so, but it shouldn't last too long. Ooh, see, that's a nice view of it all. It's not too bad. A nice old wad of flowers. Yep, pretty good. Anyway, until next time, and such, and so forth and whatnot.